Welcome on into another episode of the All Aussie Rules Footy Podcast, and what a big one it is today. It's grand final week of the AFL 2025 season, and we're going to be going through everything you need to know about grand final, I guess, coming up this weekend. This is episode 70 of season 2025. We do 2 episodes every single week here at All Aussie Rules. Every Monday, we have a men's episode. Every Thursday, we have an AFLW episode. So we'll have another one coming out later this week. Plenty of other content all over the internet going in towards Grand Final Day. So go check it out on social medias. If you're not on the YouTube, go check that out. There's plenty of stuff there. There's a Brownlow video that's just gone out over the last couple of days. Prediction Brownlow medal video. There's going to be season reviews for Hawthorn and Collingwood coming out this week. Following week, there'll be Geelong and Brisbane once their season is done. We're going to have an AFL Grand Final special preview episode on the YouTube only, going live on Friday. Once teams are announced, we'll be looking at matchups. We'll be looking at all prior stats, everything you need to know to pick the winner, I guess. And yeah, that will be coming out on Friday. So make sure you come back, hit that subscribe button. Ready for that one. And other than that, I don't know if there's too many other housekeeping issues we have to get through, but plenty of content, so go check it out. All Aussie Rules everywhere. First off, this episode, we're going to look at prelim finals. There was 2 of them on the weekend. We're going to delve into the stats, the numbers, everything you need to know about why your team or either won or didn't win, or if your team wasn't playing, just the be-all and end-all of everything you need to know from the games on prelim final weekend. So that is first plan. Then we'll look at how my tips went on the weekend. Spoiler alert, 2 from 2. Then we'll jump into next week. It's grand final week. We're going to look at the matchup of Geelong v Brisbane. We're going to look at their prior meetings this season. They've already had 3, 4th matchup coming up for the season this weekend. And then we'll do some forecasted tips for the weekend. That will include our winner, our margin, our Norm Smith medal, and our first goal kicker. So stick around for that. That's all coming up in today's episode. Thank you for joining us here at All Aussie Rules. Make sure you've hit that subscribe or follow button depending what platform you're on. Don't forget to like the video, leave a comment, let me know who's going to win the 2025 AFL Grand Final. It's a big week. Let's jump into the content. First up, the first plan is Friday night footy. It was Geelong Hawthorn, one of the biggest rivalries in the game, and they meet in an elimination final for the first time in a few years, and it was a pretty good game, let's be fair. In the end, Geelong kind of win it semi-comfortably. They certainly had a lot more shots. 17-13, 115 to 13-7, 85 for Hawthorn. It was a game where Hawthorn came out of the blocks absolutely flying. Geelong maybe a little bit slow to get going in those first few minutes, the first half to 3/4 of the first quarter. They looked okay in the first couple of minutes, to be fair, Geelong, but Hawthorn then got the first goal through Mitch Lewis, who looked really good in this game, probably one of his better games. And then they followed that up with Guinea snap from some forward pressure from the team. And then Connor Nash kicked their third. And at this point, it was looking very, very dangerous. Dangerfield did get a goal just before quarter time, just to settle the nerves a little bit of the Geelong players and fans. 13-point lead to Hawthorn at quarter time. And then after quarter time, it was topsy-turvy at times, but Geelong certainly looked a lot better in the second quarter. They got the first 2 through Shannon Neal and Mark Blixarves. Then Hawthorn got a couple back through Mitch Lewis, both of them through Mitch Lewis. So he already had 3 out of their 6 goals, 5 goals, at this point. And they were up by, 15 points or so. Fantastic start from him. Probably didn't do enough after that point, but that's neither here nor there. Sean Manor, he kicked one for Geelong. Then it was Nick Watson with an absolute ripper. Go check it out. Left foot snap from the boundary. from Nick Watson at the 18-minute mark of the second quarter. Jeremy Cameron got one, 21-minute mark of the quarter. And then a few minutes later, Tyson Stengel got one to get him within a couple points late in the first half. Then there was a couple, well, 3 behinds. Cameron, Dempsey, Bowes all kicked a behind going into halftime to give Geelong the 1-point lead at halftime from where they were at quarter time, or just before quarter time even. A really, really good result for the Cats. And they came out of the block after halftime and almost put the game to bed there and then. Hawthorn did fight back a couple times, but the first 5 minutes of the second half was absolutely scintillating from Geelong Cats and especially Paddy Dangerfield. Stengel got one straight away, then Dangerfield snapped one, then Maxi Holmes snapped one, then Jeremy Cameron got one, and the margin got out almost to 30 points. And at this point, you were thinking, oh dear, this could be over. Hawthorn fought back through Gunston, McDonald, and Impey all getting goals to get within 9 points, I think they were. Then Jack Martin, Jeremy Cameron, and Sean Manor all kicked goals going into three-quarter time to give the Cats the comfortable 28-point lead at three-quarter time. It was always going to be difficult from that point. Hawthorn did get one straight away through Gunston, who kicked his second. But then they steadied with Dangerfield kicking one and Myers kicking one. And at that point, it was pretty much officially over at 30-something points. Hawthorn did kick a couple more. Dylan Moore got one. Jack Gunston got another one. Marbal Charles got one. Just to give them a slight chance with about 10 minutes to go. But then Tyson Stengel and Bailey Smith finished off the goal kicking for the Cats to give them the win in a really entertaining game of football, and one that I guess sends the Cats through to another grand final and another chance at a premiership. Team ratings, as we do each and every week: Geelong 49.13, Hawthorn 43.76. So Geelong comfortably better on the stat sheet, according to that, I guess. A look at some of the team stats in this game. Disposals plus 14 for the Cats, so not a massive difference there. Disposal efficiency plus 4% for Geelong, so they used the ball a lot better at just over 70%. Finals pressure did ramp up. It did rain in the second half, so that does ruin your disposal efficiency a little bit. Inside 50 count plus 26 for the Cats, so they certainly peppered that forward line. Metres gained in favour of the Cats by 500 metres. Time in forward half was 56% for Geelong, so they had a lot more of the ball. Contested footy plus 10 for the Cats, plus 13 ground ball gets. Intercepts was only 1, plus 1 for Geelong, so pretty close in that regard, but the clearances were absolutely dominated by Geelong. Hawthorn just had no answer for it. 50-33 in this game is a massive, massive difference. Hawthorn were getting their hands on the footy first. They just couldn't turn it into clearances. Is pretty much the long and the short of that. Contested marks were pretty much level 10-9. Shots at goal 32-20 in favour of the Cats. That tells you probably all you need to know about the game of footy. If you have plus 12 shots at goal, you're probably going to win most times unless you kick absolutely dismally. Chain stats, nothing special, I don't think. Geelong slightly in front, but nothing huge there. Score sources, Geelong, Hawthorn actually kicked the only point from a kick-in, 1-0 in favour of Hawthorn. Stoppage was absolute domination from Geelong. It's usually the turnover game where they get a lot of points that put teams to bed. In this game, it was from stoppage. The story of the weekend of the winners, stoppage scoring was huge. 76 for Geelong, 44 for Hawthorn. So 44 for Hawthorn's not bad, but 72 for the Cats is massive. You're going to struggle to win a game if you're giving up 72 points from stoppage. Turnover game was 43-40 in favour of the Cats. Defensive half, Hawthorn actually outscored them 38-28, but forward half scoring was 77-35. And from the centre bounce, Geelong kicked 1 goal 4-10 to Hawthorn kicking 2-0-12. What else do we need to go through? Players, I guess. Biggest story of a player from the weekend, Paddy Dangerfield. Absolutely outstanding game. The best game individually by a player in the final series so far, and probably the best finals performance we've seen maybe in the last 3 years, I reckon, at least. I'm trying to think of one that's better, and I know maybe like Christian Petrarca in the 2021 Grand Final. I don't know if there's been a better one since that point. It was an exceptional game. He was absolutely doing it all. 31 disposals he had, 9 inside 50s. He had 20 contested possessions, and the next most on the ground was 13. At one point, he had 20, and the next most was like 11, I think. So he got 11 ground ball gets. He got 8 clearances. He had 5 marks. He had 3 goals straight. He pretty much just does it all, doesn't he? 2 goal assists as well, 13 score involvements, 2 score launches, 2 tackles, 12 pressure acts. He just turns into that contested beast when he needs to, and he hasn't lost it. He just has not lost it at all. We don't see it all that often through the home and away season, but when he brings it out, boy oh boy, it was very reminiscent of the 2022 AFL Grand Final. He played a very similar game. Maybe this one was slightly better, but he was unlucky to miss out on Norm Smith that day just due to Isaac Smith racking up the numbers. But another fantastic performance by him. He was clearly the highest rated player on the ground. He gets the 10 MVP votes. If you're new around here, top 5 players for both teams get votes. The winning team get 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, and the losing team get 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 for the top 5. Going through the list of players, I guess, from there, Graham Myers was next. He had plenty of football. He played really good game of football as well. Let me just get all of these game up. Helps if I go to the right one. And we'll go through game by game, I guess. Game by game, player by player, and have a look at the full, basically, list for both teams. We've got them in order, so we'll work our way down. Graham Myers was second best for Geelong. Really good game. One of his better ones of the season. Absolutely fantastic throughout. He had plenty of the football. 27 touches. 8 contested, 6 intercepts. So he was doing, 6 intercepts. A good effort there. Kicked the 1 goal, had 4 goal assists, which was incredibly good effort, and led the ground for 14 score involvements. Also had 21 pressure acts. Third best on ground was Bailey Smith in his first season at the Cats. He's certainly going very well. 36 touches, little bit of a low disposal efficiency rate, as is kind of typical for him, but 36 touches, 8 inside 50s, 13 contested possessions. He had 1 goal, that 1 goal was late, 2 goal assists, 19 pressure acts, 6 tackles. Interestingly enough, just the 6 score involvements, which perhaps is a little bit lower than you'd expect, especially seeing he had 1 goal, with 2 goal assists, so that's 4 of his score involvements right there. Mark Blixarves was next. He played ruckman. He did an outstanding job. Beat Lloyd Meek throughout the game, I believe. Meek did have a few more hitouts, but everywhere else in the game and ground, Blixarves won that matchup. Tom Atkins was their 5th best player. He played a really good inside mid-roll, as he always does. Laid another 11 tackles, as did Blixarves. I just went past that, but he had 11 tackles as well. 33 pressure acts for Tom Atkins. He does what Tom Atkins does best. And that's throw the body around and make sure that nobody has an easy time in that inside mid-roll during the day. Tyson Stengel was next. Highest rated player, 15 touches in this one. He kicked 3 goals from 3 shots. A good effort. Then Jeremy Cameron, he kicked 3 goals from 5 shots. He played well. He was 9th best on ground. Maxi Holmes was next. He played inside mid-roll, 25 disposals. Good game. Sean Manor, 15 touches, 2 goals. Good game from him. Zach Guthrie playing down back. At times got stuck one-on-one with some taller defenders, but overall he played a good game, I think. 10 intercepts throughout was good. Sam De Koning playing key defender was really good as well. He was their best key defender in this game. Brad Close was next highest rated player. He was 22nd on the ground. Played really well. Jack Bowes was next, and Ollie Dempsey, so two outside mids, were their next two best players. Jack Martin popped up for a goal and played okay. Wasn't anything super special, but he was a bit quiet early, but got going, I think, throughout. Austin Mullen was huge. His rating doesn't look great, but he was absolutely a major part in their win here. He kept Nick Watson to basically nothing throughout this game. Shannon Neal, quiet-ish. He clunked an absolute spectacular grab, but the free kick was given to Paddy Dangerfield, who went back and kicked the goal. So maybe cost him a goal there, but he did kick one. Lawson Humphreys is next as that general defender. Didn't have a huge game, played his role. Jai Clark, another general defender, who had 14 touches, wasn't terrible, didn't use the ball great though, to be honest. Connor O'Sullivan was good in that defensive role as a key defender. Jack Henry went off injured at one point, but got back out there soon enough. We'll see how he pulls up this week. Mark O'Connor was their second worst player. He played okay without doing anything too special. And then the only other player for Geelong is the big story out of the game, and that is Tom Stewart, who got knocked out, not fully knocked out, but got concussion, so will miss the grand final this week, which is absolutely heartbreaking for him. Disappointing result for a lot of people, but it is what it is. In the end, it's an injury. Whether you agree with it or not, it's, in my opinion, no different than somebody that goes and does an ankle or does a calf or whatever in prelim final week. It's the exact same thing. It's just an injury. Heartbreaking, yes, but you can't avoid injuries. It's part of the game, and it's unfortunate that someone's going to miss a grand final due to you have to stand down for 11 days, but it is what it is, and it's disappointing for Tom Stewart. He's had a great season. He's a key member of this team. It will be interesting to see how they go without him and what they do on the selection table this week. But yeah, it is what it is. Jumping over to the other team, Hawthorn, start at their top player of the game. He was actually fourth best on ground, Dylan Moore. He actually played a fair bit of inside mid-time in this game. Attended 41% of centre bounces, which is quite high for him. He had 26 touches as well, which is almost his most for the season, I would say. 12 contested possessions, 24 pressure acts, 7 score involvements, 6 tackles. He played a really, really good game. Jack Gunston, what a final series he's had. What a season he's had, but final series he's been outstanding. He's rated elite in 2 out of the 3 games and top class in the other. So a really good finals campaign from him. He had 5 shots, kicked 3 goals, 1 with 2 goal assists. Mabal Chol played a fair bit of ruck time, to be honest. He attended 47% of centre bounces. He ended up with 14 hit-outs. They chucked him in there because they needed a difference in there because Lloyd Meek just wasn't getting the clearances going their way of Hawthorn, and he threw his body around. He played okay. He kicked, 1 goal, did he? Yeah, just the 1 goal from 3 shots. Wasn't an outstanding game, but he played okay. Massimo D'Ambrosio actually played, maybe, it wasn't his best game of the year, but he was okay. He was busy early. Only 14 touches in the end, 20 pressure acts. He was okay. Connor Nash kicked a goal, playing inside mid as well, 23 touches, 8 contested. He was solid, 7 clearances. One of their only good clearance players for the game. Next up, we got Jarman Impey. Played mainly general defender in this game, 14 touches. Carl Lamon, another general defender. He had 28 touches, in this game with 7 marks. Played a pretty good game. Jai Newcomb, after 4 best on grounds in his previous 4 finals, he was a little bit off that today. 19th best on the field, 20 touches, struggled at times to get involved enough, had 5 clearances, 11 contested possessions. Josh Battle is next. He played a good role down back. He was on Jeremy Cameron, kept him to 3 goals. It's a tough role on Jeremy Cameron. There's no doubt about it. He did a pretty solid job throughout most of the night. Mitch Lewis started the game outstanding form, kicked 3 goals in the first quarter and a half. Didn't do much after that, but he's showing some really good signs as that key forward. Blake Hardwick, general defender, played solid. Lloyd Meek, as we said in the ruck, wasn't outstanding. He got beaten in the ruck. I don't think there's any arguments there. Josh Ward played inside mid in this one for a little bit of the time. 32% of centre bounce attendances. He had 22 pressure acts. He was okay. Jack Scrimshaw playing general defender. Doesn't play tall all that much. He occasionally will rotate through some talls at times, but mostly playing on smalls. Jack Ginnivan kicked that early goal in the first quarter. 24 disposals, a broken finger as well, apparently. He played okay without being exceptional. Certainly was better than he was last week. Tom Barras, key defender, played okay. Wasn't anything special. James Warple struggled in this one to have any significant impact. 16 touches at 56%. Suggests that he struggled to be a major contributor to this game. It'll be interesting to see if he's at Geelong next year. Josh Weddle, he struggled to have much impact as well. Someone that in the finals so far had been really good. This one, not so much. He struggled to have major influence. He had 12 touches, rotated through a few positions, didn't have much impact. Sicily, he was rated 31st on the ground. He was okay without doing much as well. Connor McDonald, 35th best on ground. Didn't have much impact. Nick Watson was their lowest rated player that was not either starting sub or subbed off. He really struggled to have much impact. He kicked that 1 left foot goal. He only had 5 disposals. They chucked him down back to start the last quarter, which was an astonishing move. And he got outmarked by Brad Close straight away. Could have been a free kick. There was definitely a jumper hold. But either way, it was an interesting decision. And they quickly swung him back forward. But he just really struggled to get involved in the match. Sam Butler got subbed off. Played okay. Didn't have major impact. He only had 43% game time. And then CJ Giaff, he was their starting sub. Came on, showed a little bit, had 5 touches, only went at 40%, unfortunately. But yeah, that's how it is. So that's pretty much everyone and everything from the first preliminary final, sorry. That's, I think, everything you need to know. That's every single player. So let's jump into the second of the prelim finals and run through this one and have a look at it. So this was Collingwood Brisbane. It was at the MCG. It was on Saturday afternoon. And it was won by Brisbane. No surprise. I mean, we all know that now. It was 15-10-100 to 11-5-71 in favour of the Lions. It was a topsy-turvy game for a little bit. The Brisbane Lions blew them away late. Is basically how this one went. First quarter, Collingwood kicked the first. They could have had a couple early ones, but they wasted a couple early opportunities, like Mason Cox dropping the mark out of the opening centre bounce. But Mason Cox did kick the first goal. Then Brisbane went on a tear. They dominated from that point on in the first quarter. Dunkley got there first, then Zach Bailey, who had a great game. Logan Morris and Ty Gallup all kicked goals to give Brisbane the 20-point lead at quarter time. Post quarter time, it turned. The game absolutely changed in every way possible. Jamie Elliott kicked the first, then Tim Membry, Lockie Schultz, Paddy Lipinski, Tim Membry, and Dan Houston kicked one from the boundary just to give Collingwood a lead of 13 points after trailing by 20 at quarter time. It was a massive turnaround going into halftime. Halftime couldn't have come soon enough for the Lions. And when it did, it came, and the Lions came out of halftime absolutely perfect. Zach Bailey, 50 seconds into the third quarter, kicked a goal. Then Will Ashcroft got one about a minute later. Unbelievable start. A few minutes later, Ty Gallup got one. And then by the 12-minute mark, Cam Rayner kicked a goal. And the Lions looked like they were in control. Then Jamie Elliott got one back. Hugh McCluggage got one the other way. And then Jamie Elliott got his third. At the 18-minute mark of that quarter, through one of the greatest marks of all time. But Will Ashcroft sockered one off the ground at the 25-minute mark to give them that lead back, and then Cam Rayner kicked one just before three-quarter time to give them a 17-point lead at three-quarter time. Collingwood got the first through Mason Cox's soccer and a score review halfway through the last quarter, and they almost kicked a goal to get within 6 points with about 10 minutes to go. Free kick wasn't paid, and Brisbane went up the other end and kicked a goal from Charlie Cameron. A 2-goal swing there, and then it was just lights out for Brisbane. Charlie Cameron got that one. Tyler Gallup got one a couple minutes later. Then Lohman sockered one. And then Dane Zorko finished it off. Jamie Elliott did kick his fourth goal late in the game, but it was too little too late. The Brisbane Lions won by 29 points. So next, we take a look at the team ratings, and the All Aussie Rules team rating had Brisbane at a 49.82 and Collingwood at a 41.46. So a pretty healthy margin there between Brisbane and Collingwood. Suggests that Brisbane were the better team on the day. You look at most of the stat sheet, and it's going to tell you a very interesting story as well. Total disposals was plus 70, basically, in favour of Brisbane. 381 to 312. Their disposal efficiency was a lot better than Collingwood's, especially in that first quarter. 72 to 68. Inside 50s plus 5 for Brisbane, so not a massive margin there. Forward halftime was 52% almost for Brisbane. Contested possessions plus 14 for the Lions. Intercepts plus 4 for the Lions. That's something that Collingwood usually do pretty well at, but the numbers were quite high in this game, and that's probably a sign that this game was more on Brisbane's terms than Collingwood's. The clearance game, 45 to 36 in favour of Brisbane, but the scoring from clearances we'll get to shortly. That is a massive factor in this game. Marks, 113 to 77. Uncontested football was dominated by the Lions, especially early in that first quarter. Total shots, 28 to 19 in favour of the Lions. Overall, it's hard to make an argument that Brisbane weren't the better team in this game. Kick-in scoring, there was none for either team. Scoring from stoppages, Brisbane dominated it. 65 to 33, kicking 10 goals, 5. The amount of stoppages from the forward 50 that Brisbane converted into goals immediately was insane, but they also did it all over the ground. So 10 goals to 5, they doubled their score in that facet, and that is your match right there. Scoring from turnovers were pretty much level. 35 Brisbane, 38 Collingwood. So Collingwood did win it. They do typically win it by more than that, but that was not enough. Scoring from the defensive half, Brisbane 28, Collingwood 14. So Brisbane won that area. From the forward half, that was defensive half. If I said it wrong, I might have. I can't remember what I said. Forward half, 64 to 44 in favour of Brisbane, so won that area as well. And centre bound scoring was the only area that Collingwood really won, and that was 2 goals to 1, 13 to 8. Overall, Brisbane clearly, I think, were the winners in this game. The deserved winners on the day, and they got the job done. Moving into our player stats for this one, and we shall work our way through, if I can find me sheet. Here we go. Sorry about that. We'll go through the players. We'll start with a winning team, work our way down from best to worst, as we did with the previous game. Hugh McCluggage, he was the highest rated Brisbane Lion on the ground. He was absolutely sensational. Had a lot of the ball, 37 touches. He had 6 inside 50s. He started hot in that first quarter and it just kind of kept going throughout the game. 14 contested possessions was the most on the ground. 11 ground ball gets was the most on the ground. He had 10 clearances, once again, most on the ground, only ahead of teammates as well, because second best was Zach Bailey with 7. What else did he do? He had 2 shots at goal, got one of them. He had 6 score involvements, 2 tackles, a great game from Hugh McCluggage. He's had an outstanding season. His best season of his career so far. He was fantastic all year, but this was certainly a little bit of icing on that cake, and he'll be hoping that he can replicate that this weekend in the grand final. Next best was Dane Sorko in the ratings, which I laugh because he was good, don't get me wrong. He did probably give Collingwood 3 or 4 of their 11 goals through free kicks and turnovers. But when he wasn't doing those mistakes, he was playing well. He had 28 touches, he had 9 inside 50s, kicked a goal late. He did what he does. He took risks, and they started to pay off. Early days, maybe not so much. Harris Andrews was an absolute weapon. Geelong are going to have to put a lot of time into Harris Andrews this week and work out what they're going to do, because they can't do what Collingwood did, and that's just kick the ball down the line. And then when Collingwood weren't doing that, when they tried to take a risk, they just weren't hitting their targets. But Harris Andrews just was well positioned all day. He played an absolute perfect game. He is probably the most crucial factor in the Brisbane Lions team, I think, and whether they win or lose this weekend. Will Ashcroft was next best. He was their highest rated player last week, so 2 really good games in a row from Will Ashcroft. He had 20 touches, kicked 2 goals, including a soccer goal that was incredible. Go check it out, from a stoppage in the forward 50. Incredible hit from him. Darcy Gardner, another defender, played really well in this one. 17 touches, barely beaten all day. Fantastic effort. Ty Gallup, where has he come from? Up to halftime last week, you were wondering why he was in the team, and then he turned it on in the second half and then he's done it exactly the same again throughout this whole game. He was really good. He was a good target. He made his opportunities count. He had 3 shots a goal, kicked 3 goals. He does what he needs to do. Well done to him. Fantastic effort. It's going to be, his 6th game or something going into a grand final, so that's crazy. Darcy Wilmot, he was really good throughout this one. He had 25 touches, did what he needed to throughout most of the game. Callum Archie got a really good chase down on Geordie De Goey in the first quarter, which really set the tone for the Brisbane Lions in this one. Josh Dunkley, maybe not the levels of last week where he had 18 tackles, but still laid 10 tackles. Fantastic game from him. Logan Morris didn't kick 6 goals like he did last time against Collingwood, but still a fantastic performance from him. 6 score involvements, kicked a goal. Was good. Zach Bailey, he was a game changer in my opinion. He's ranked slightly lower than I thought he would have been, in all honesty. 21 touches, 10 contested, 7 clearances, kicked 2 goals, and was just absolutely tearing clearances apart, just running straight through and causing chaos, and absolutely fantastic performance from him. Charlie Cameron played one of his better games of the year. He hasn't been that great this year, but he was good here. Kicked 2 goals. Did he kick 2 goals? No, just 1 goal, sorry. But he was solid. Cam Rayner kicked 2 goals. He was quiet throughout most of the game. I believe he's been sick this week. But his second half was really important. He had 10 touches, 2 goals. Sam Marshall, one of his better games. He was solid on the wing, 17 disposals, used the ball pretty well throughout most of the game. Starcevic was really good in that general defender role, played his role, did what he had to. Didn't get beaten all that often. Unfortunately, when he did get beaten, Jamie Elliott made him pay, but he played pretty well throughout. Darcy Fort was their main ruckman. Overall, Darcy Cameron did rate higher than him, but he did his role. He played okay throughout most of the game. Kai Lohmann struggled to have an impact through most of the game. He wasn't bad. He just didn't affect a huge amount and kicked 1 late goal, but he was solid. Ryan Lester, key defender, played solid. Jasper Fletcher, another general defender who had a bit of the football, used it pretty well throughout most of those 18 disposals he had. He was solid. Levi Ashcroft was 37th best on ground in this one, 14 disposals. Didn't have a huge impact on the match. Certainly one of his quieter games of his career so far. Bruce Revel came on as the sub. He ended up playing, 46% game time, so almost half the game, and played pretty well. He was important. He made some good decisions. He had 10 touches, a solid half of football basically from him. He definitely won't be dropped, I wouldn't imagine, going into next week. You'd have to think he would keep his spot. Jared Berry did his shoulder trying to tackle Dacos in that first half. So he got subbed out with just 27% game time. He was looking okay at that point, 11 touches. It wasn't nothing special, but he was going pretty well. You'd have to think it's going to be hard for them to play him next week. And Oscar McInerney, he's an interesting one, this one. His form's not that great. He didn't do much in this game. He only played 64% game time. Didn't do a heap of ruck work. Sat forward a lot. Didn't touch the ball all that much. Is this what they're going to do next week for Geelong? You can't drop him after last year, surely, but I don't know what the go is there. Is that the best opportunity for them? They're a very tall lineup. There's no doubt about that, but it's going to be fascinating what Geelong do with their ruck lineup and what Brisbane also do. Going on to the losing team and Collingwood, their highest rated player for the Pies was Nick Dacos. He was huge, especially in the first half. He played a really good game. He had 27 touches, went at 85% disposal efficiency. 6 clearances, which was the most for any Collingwood player. He led them in contested possessions with 11. He had 4 score involvements, so not huge in the score involvements compared to his normal numbers. But 1 goal assist, should have probably been 2 if Mason Cox had have marked the opening centre clearance. But a solid enough game from Nick Dacos. He was their best player. It's the best game he's played in a final, I would say, I think, rating-wise. He was really good. They just lacked enough support in that midfield, I think. They showed nothing else. Nobody else in that midfield really did much. Jamie Elliott, he was good. He took what should be Mark of the Year. I know Mark of the Year doesn't count in finals, but he took an absolute screamer. Go watch it. He just flies. He is incredible. He kicked 4 goals in the end, kicking that late. Junk time goal. Could have been another one as well if he had got the free kick, but he didn't. In the end, 16 touches, 4 goals. If you had given him that at the start of the day, you'd say that Collingwood probably had a good day. It wasn't to be, but he played well. Josh Dacos started in the middle for the first bounce. Didn't have that many centre bounce attendances after that. He was solid. 26 touches, 6 intercepts, 4 clearances, got a lot of metres gained. I think he had the most on the ground. Second most. Dane Zorko had an extra 10 metres than him. But yeah, he was good. Once again, a good game from him. Crisp was their next highest rated player, and everybody else on the ground is average or worse from Collingwood, except for Lockie Schultz, who was a general forward. But Crisp, he was okay. He wasn't anything special. 18 touches, probably didn't get his hands on the ball enough. Darcy Cameron, not his best game in the ruck. He was okay. He was serviceable. He was the best ruckman on the ground, but nothing super. Bo McQuarrie, he was good in areas. He only had 13 touches. When he was in the centre bounces, he was good. He only had 33% centre bounce attendances. He ended up with 5 clearances, and I think he just gave them something different in those centre bounces that he was there. So maybe that's something they can use a bit more over next season. Harry Perryman was next, 20th best on the ground. He played his role. His disposal probably let him down a few times, but he was overall pretty good. Darcy Moore, I think, was solid. Nowhere near the game that he had last time. 9 disposals, did have 9 intercepts. So pretty much every time he touched the ball was an intercept. Lockie Schultz had 13 touches. He was everywhere, kicked a goal, 2 goal assists. He played good. He was arguably probably their 4th best player in terms of ratings by position. Ned Long struggled to have much impact on the game. He had a good little spurt in the second quarter, but outside of that, not huge. He got back and got an intercept mark in the defensive 50, and then I think he hit someone on the chest. Yeah, it hit Lipinski in the goal square for a goal. So good in that spurt, but struggled elsewhere. Still side bottom. Started on McCluggage. It didn't work, and they aborted that at quarter time, or maybe before quarter time. Didn't have a massive impact on the game. 18 touches at 50%, which is really poor for him, and missed an absolute sitter in the final quarter that could have been huge for them if he had have kicked it. So he had someone open in the goal square and missed an easy shot. I think he kicked it out on the full. Dan Houston kicked 1 goal from the boundary. Outside of that, was pretty quiet. Started okay, but pretty quiet. Maynard, one of his quieter games too. He's had a really good season. This was not one of his best. He wasn't bad. He just wasn't his best. Billy Frampton played his role. He's not expected to do huge in numbers or anything. He's just trying to keep his opponents quiet. He did an okay job without being great. Paddy Lipinski kicked a goal from the goal line, but made a few blues as well. Howie, in his first full game in, 10 weeks or something, he was okay without being anything special. Rowan Steele was the sub, ended up playing 63% game time because he was on almost immediately. He played okay. Outside mid role, he ran the wing, he did his role. He wasn't anything special, but it's his 5th or 6th game of football. I think he did a pretty good job. Quainer, he was pretty quiet, didn't have a huge amount of it, 15 touches. Tim Embry kicked a couple goals, 2 goals, 1 from 4 shots. Maybe if he kicks 4 straight, who knows, but Collingwood did kick pretty accurate throughout the game, so they can't blame their misses. Mason Cox kicked 2 goals as well, kicked the first and also got that soccer goal in the third. Outside of that, struggled to have much impact. Brody Mychek really had very little impact at all. Maybe the lack of training over the last couple of weeks was a bad one for him. But yeah, he really struggled to have any major impact on this game. And Geordie De Goey was their lowest rated player that played at least half the game time. He really struggled to have impact. He had 17 touches going at 47%. 3 inside 50s, 6 contested possessions. He got run down. He had 1 clearance. 2 shots at goal for 2 behinds. Did have a goal assist, 4 score involvements. He just, after the 2 previous games, he was really good. He really struggled in this one to have any impact. And he'll be disappointed with that because he is very well known as a big game player. And this was not one of them. Scotty Pendlebury, if you don't know, got subbed off in about 4 minutes of the game with a calf. Was he carrying it into the game? Who knows? But he didn't last very long into the game and was subbed off almost immediately, and he will be absolutely gutted with that, I reckon. But he went into coach role and maybe made some changes in that quarter time address because I think he had some words with some players and they certainly looked better after quarter time, but he would have much rather been out on the field, I'm sure. So that's both games looked at from the weekend. We will now jump into our tips for the weekend, and we got them both right. Our margins weren't spectacular. Let's not beat around the bush there. Not terrible, but we got them right. So we said Cats by 7. They won by 30. I think it was. And the Brisbane Lions, we said by 13 and they won by 29. We go 2 from 2. 2 weeks in a row, 2 from 2, I think. So turning it around after a poor first week of the finals. 155 out of 215 for the season. And maybe, just maybe, we can finish the season off well as well. We'll do our tip for the grand final shortly. But let's move into week 4 of the finals. It's the final week of AFL. Progressing to the grand final on next Saturday afternoon. It's Geelong, it's Brisbane. It's going to be a cracker. That's what we've got Saturday afternoon. Obviously, Hawthorn and Collingwood are eliminated from the finals race. And this is how it shapes up. Geelong, Brisbane, the All Aussie Rules rating has Geelong as a plus 4.81 rating. Brisbane is a plus 4.42, which gives the predicted winner of Geelong by 2 points. It's going to be tight, according to the rating system. The game will kick off at 2:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Time at the MCG. We've had big crowds last weekend. We're going to have big crowds again this weekend. You would have to think we're going to do a full review video on the YouTube channel. No, preview video. We'll do a review after the game, but a full preview video later this week. So make sure you come back, check that out on the YouTube channel, because we will have a lot of information for you in that one. But we're just going to run through the last 3 matchups between these teams today and have a look at them. So the last time they met was obviously 2 weeks ago. It was at the MCG. It was Geelong. It was Brisbane, and the Cats won it by 38 points, 16-16, 112 to 11-8, 74. You can see who were the highest rated players on the ground for Geelong. It was Maxi Holmes. It was Tom Stewart, who's not going to be playing in this one. Ollie Dempsey, Blixarves, and Tommy Atkins. For the Lions, it was Darcy Fort in the ruck. It was Will Ashcroft, who's been in their top 5 3 weeks in a row in the finals this year. Turning himself into a big game player, Dane Zorko, Josh Dunkley, and Zach Bailey. Geelong rated a +6 in that game. So a good performance from the Cats in week 1 of the finals. The previous time they met was down at GMHBA Stadium in round 15. Top 5 players from both teams. The Lions won this one 14-8-92 to 6-15-51. Some terrible kicking from Geelong as Brisbane win on the road by 41 points. Top players for Brisbane, Will Ashcroft, that name again. He is putting together a good resume for grand final week this week. Hugh McCluggage, 8. Harris Andrews, 6. Josh Dunkley, 4. And Cam Rayner was 5th best. For the losing team, Tom Stewart, who obviously won't be playing this time, Tom Atkins, Maxi Holmes, Blixarves, and Jack Henry in the back line. As you can see, Brisbane outrated them massively that day. Geelong really struggled in front of goal, but also around the ground. I think Brisbane were the better team. And then the other meeting they had this year was round 3 up at the Gabba, and the Lions won this one as well, 10-10-70 to 9-7-61. Bit of a different graphic I was doing back then. So we don't have top 5 players from both teams, but we have just the top 5 players. It was Hugh McCluggage, Dane Zorko, Max Holmes, Will Ashcroft again, that name again, Harris Andrews as well. Brisbane outrating Geelong by 3 that day. I'm telling you a lot, these previous meetings. If Brisbane are to win, Will Ashcroft is probably going to be pretty important. If Geelong are going to win, maybe Maxi Holmes will be the important one. Just worth noting. Obviously, both teams are in super form right now. Brisbane's last 5 weeks have their rating way up on what it was all season. So that's a really good positive. They've been playing top teams for 6 weeks in a row now and getting the job done week in, week out. So there is 0 issues with that. They travel perfectly. Like, they have been travelling so good this year. So the fact that it's at the MCG, I don't think hurts them that much this year. They've already won multiple games. They've beaten Collingwood twice at the MCG. They beat Geelong at GMHBA. They've beaten a lot of teams on the road this year. So I don't think that's going to be too big of a concern. I think it's going to be close. I think it's just going to be who performs best on the day, and maybe come down to game plan, who plans the best and who executes that plan. Yeah, so that's all of this year's matchups. On to our tips for the grand final. We got Geelong as our tip for the match. Maybe We'll change that before the game starts. I don't know. Obviously, I'm recording this 6 days out from the grand final, so it's still a fair way away. The AFL website tells me it's 5 days, 19 hours until kickoff. But at this early stage, before teams are announced, before we know final thoughts and stuff, we're going Geelong. In my preview video on Friday, I'll definitely update you on my tips and whatnot. But at the moment, we're going Geelong by 17 points. Geelong win. Norm Smith, I think, will go Maxi Holmes' way. Paddy Dangerfield, if he plays like he did on the weekend, will get it, obviously. But surely he can't go that big again. Bailey Smith, obviously, will be in the contention. But I think Max Holmes is just such an important player to them when they're playing well. So we'll see how that goes. First goal, Zach Bailey. Proven finals goal kicker. He's in some great form. So I'm sticking true with that, I think, in all honesty. I think that's everything we have for you in this episode. I don't have much else to go through. It's grand final week. Massive week of football. We've got plenty of content coming your way this week on the YouTube channel, on social medias. So go check all of that out. There'll be another episode on the AFLW on Thursday, going live on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, as all our podcast episodes do. So go check them out. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Don't forget to hit that noti bell so you don't miss any drops. Plenty of videos coming out every week. All the way through, we're going to be doing grand final reviews, and then we're starting to focus on the draft, and the next year's schedule will be dropped, and pre-season. So there is a lot more content to come throughout the rest of 2025. So stick around. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. We delved deeply into those games of football. The two better teams, in my opinion, won on the day. So well done to both the Cats and the Lions. Good luck for this weekend. If your team is playing, I hope they win. And I hope we have a cracking game, in all honesty. That's mainly what I want to see. So yeah, that's episode 70 of the podcast. I'm Jay. This is the All Aussie Rules Football Podcast. Now catch us on the next one.